What's up, everybody? Trayvon here with Scent Talk TV, and today I will be doing a full review on a fragrance from the house of Lattafa, a fragrance that I got at my local Burlington, of course. This fragrance has been circulating in my comments section, for quite some time now, and I finally, got around to it to try to hunt it down and find it, and I finally found it. And I finally did some testing and see how good it is and stuff like that, which I will get into those details later because I'm talking too much. Without further ado, let's just jump into it. And so, that fragrance from the house of Lattafa, we have Lattafa's Maahir Legacy. Super reflective bottle. Very, very reflective. Now, I usually show off the price tag on the cellophane, which I accidentally threw away. And I got this fragrance for like between $25, $30 and some change plus tax, which is not really a bad price for this fragrance. But let's just dive into the box for those of you who care about the box. Here we go. Holographic sticker of the logo right here. You got the name of the house right there, name of the fragrance right here, and you have nothing. Actually, yes, you do have something. It's a eau de parfum concentration, and you have the signs of concentration right there. In this little window, the fragrance sits like right there within those grooves right there. Yada, 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 nothing here. You got, I don't know what that is, so don't ask me because I don't know. And you have some information on the back with the name of the house right here at this logo and the name of the fragrance. And some ingredients and information on the back with the barcode and stuff like that. The box slides up in this little sleeve and the window of this box just fell. So let me grab that to show off. There you go. Okay, so bottle presentation time. It is very, very hard to see, what's on this bottle because the reflection is very, very reflective. But if you can see the name of the house right here and the name of the fragrance right there under this little, I guess, foreign language or design right here, and you have the little stallion head that swivels and squeaks. I really don't like that. I wish they'd kind of do something with that. I kind of don't like that. It's kind of annoying. But anyway, down here, you have the size and concentration here at this sticker, as well as the logo of the house and the name of the house. It is a very snug fit of the cap, which is good. The atomizer of this fragrance it's average, not good, not astounding or anything like that, but it ain't bad either. And it doesn't leak, so big plus and a pass. Okay, finally, what do I get out of this fragrance? Ladies and gentlemen, if anything of this fragrance, you're going to get a lot of green citruses. You're just going to get a very fresh, spicy, aromatic, dope citruses in this fragrance. That's all you're going to get. You're going to get so many different profiles of green citruses in this fragrance when you first sprayed it on. And actually, when it persists on your skin is what I'm trying to say. When it persists on your skin, that's all you're going to get is a bunch of fresh, spicy green citruses with a little bit of masculine florals, just a little bit, but I'll get to that in a minute. All right, let's get into those notes. You got in the top, you got some lime, mint, grapefruit, lavender, and some pineapple. Like I said before, you get a lot of citruses from that grapefruit, that pineapple, and that lime especially. You got some fresh citruses, and you got a little bit of some tart bitterness going on with the citruses. That's kind of sweet and fresh at the same time. The mint gives it that fresh spiciness, like I mentioned before, that green fresh spiciness from that mint. The lavender is green as well, and a little bit of a floral powderiness as well, on my skin at least, that I get out of it, which is not too dominant, but it is noticeable. What's really dominant is all of these citruses, from the lime, the grapefruit, the pineapple, and the mid notes as well is which I'm going to get to now, is the black pepper, juniper berry, rosemary, geranium, and that frankincense. Sorry. Black pepper is what adds to a little bit of the spice to the mint, but it's a little bit of a savory type of a black pepper, which is not like hellaciously strong or overbearing in this fragrance. You know, it's kind of like a soft savory type of a spice, which is not too loud, you know what I mean? And the juniper berry is like a piney type of a greenness. Like I said, you know, you get so many different profiles of greenness in this fragrance, from like bitter tart green, fruity green, fresh green, and you got the piney foresty like green from the juniper berries. Now, when you get into that geranium note, that geranium has a rosy type of a masculine floralness that's also green as well. And the frankincense, the frankincense do add a little bit more of a woody, fruity touch, but not too much. I don't really get a lot of fruitiness out of the frankincense, just a little bit, but it does add some more greenness to it, like, you know, a warmer green type of a profile to this fragrance. Now, when it comes to that rosemary, you do get like a herbaceous, like savory greenness with it when it comes to that rosemary, of course. But once you get into the base, once it dries down your skin, it does get a little bit more masculine and a tad bit animalic. Not animalic to the point where it will throw this fragrance completely off. I'm not saying that, but it does give it more of a masculine feel. You know, dry, dusty, a little bit more of a, you know, like an animalic dusty accord that the ambroxan, the vetiver, and oak moss and tonka bean, as well as the cashmerean gives. Now, the tonka bean is what really makes it a little bit more sweeter. You know, it has a green dustiness with that tonka bean that makes it a little bit more sweeter. This fragrance is just, I'm just gonna stop it right there. It's great. If that's what you're looking for on how it is, it's a great fragrance. If you are a fan of, you know, green citrusy type of a fragrance, because that's all you're gonna get in here. That's all you're gonna get, like from the top all the way through, is green citruses in so many different profiles when it persists on your skin. To sum this fragrance all up in a few accords: green, citrusy, and dusty, and a little bit of a ambery type of a sweetness too, just a little bit. You know, fougere and alomalic is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to talk too fast and getting stumbled over my words like I'm doing right now. But aromatic fougere type of a fragrance that is very, very pleasant to my nostrils, of course. And I will highly recommend this fragrance if you are a fan of those scent profiles and specifics. So let's get into that performance. The performance on me, it was all right. You know, it was average. You know, it wasn't a monster. You know, it just pushed out averagely, you know, giving you a nice scent bubble so you can smell on yourself and enjoy it, and for others to smell on you and to enjoy it. Even though I didn't get any compliments, and I don't wear fragrances for compliments, you know, but you already know how I get down when it comes to that. But I don't care for compliments. But not to say that you wouldn't get any compliments, you know, from this fragrance, because I did have lady friends that did smell this on me and enjoy it, just spraying in the air. You know, they didn't really smell it on me. I just sprayed it in the air and they liked it. But, you know, I digress. But yeah, the performance was average. You know, it projects greatly for like an hour to an hour and a half, an hour and some change, set close to the skin. Total longevity, you know, it was a good 5 to 6 hours after that. Now, I oversprayed with this, and a max I got with this was like 6 hours. You know, this is great for, you know, warm weather. You know, it's going to allow, the warmth is going to allow this fragrance to push out even a little bit further. You know, it does have a little bit of sweetness inside of this fragrance for it to maintain and hold the performance of this fragrance and allow it to push out even more strongly. So that's a plus. You know, the freshness and stuff like that that you get out of here with that green, you know, it adapts very well in a high heat. So when it comes to performance, if you're looking for a beast, you're probably not going to get it in this. At least I didn't get it. Now, if you want to be a beast of a performer out of this fragrance, just hold yourself down to where it's just dripping off your body. You know, but in my experience, I oversprayed, but I still didn't get a monstrous performance. So I'm talking too much. It performed averagely, and that's good enough for me based on the price that I paid for this. So when it comes to the age group, I honestly believe that this is a highly versatile fragrance to where all ages can pull off. Not too playful, not too sweet, immature, not too masculine, not too outdated or anything like that. You know, this is a common ground type of a fragrance to where it could also be a dumb reach type of a fragrance as well in the spring and summertime. So there's that. Seasons, like I said, spring and summertime. Early fall, probably not suitable for the wintertime. It's too fresh, it's too green, you know, it just throws the vibes off, you know. It's not gonna push, you know, through the cold, and it's not gonna cut through the cold. It doesn't have that strength, it doesn't have that sweetness, it doesn't have that power to do so. It's more suited for and well adaptive to warmer weather, spring and summertime. Like I said before, spring and summertime. So when it comes to this fragrance, in my final thoughts, you know, this fragrance is fire, yo. You know, it's not gonna break your bank. You know, the price point is where it needs to be. You know, it's not gonna break your bank. It's not gonna break your pockets. You're not gonna smell it and be like, this is distasteful and it smells horrible. You know, I'm pretty sure, you know, if you give it a chance, you know, it'll grow on you. Or I'm pretty sure that it'll be a love at first sniff, because this is not a bad off-putting fragrance at all. Very green, aromatic, fougere type of fragrance. Very green and citrusy as well. If you are a fan of those scent profiles, this could be the one for you. It is green through the top all the way through to the base, through the longevity of this fragrance. If that's a problem for you, probably won't be for you if you don't like green style fragrances. But there's that. So that's all that I have for Scent Talk TV, ladies and gentlemen. And as always, you know what to do. You gotta like, comment, share, and subscribe. And make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything. And I will see you guys in the next video. Be safe out there and be blessed and have a good one. I'm out of here. Peace.